So I thought I'd do another slightly longer video, seeing as I managed to free up some space on my iPhone. So yeah, so this is the upper manual cover, as you can see there. So that was removed, and I've cleaned that up. I might give it another little go over, but it's really clean. I'll probably put a bit of primer on there. It was slightly corroded on the ends there. I think there's been a bit of water ingress. Well, there has been some water ingress at some time, whether it's because it was in my garage for a few months or whether it had happened before I got it, possibly with a leaky ceiling, because I've noticed the actual organ case itself has got a bit, the finish is slightly mottled there, so it's possible that it has had some water down, but that's neither here nor there really. So I just wanted to show you the two lengths of foam which I've taken off from both manuals now, and they're actually in very good condition. There's no degradation. As you can see, it doesn't stick, it doesn't stay in one place, it just returns. Same with the low manual. So they haven't degraded at all. And this is an organ from around 73. What I did notice though is you've got you've got a short piece that actually sits there, and then you've got the longer piece which actually runs along there. I'll try and get my hand in shot at the back. The short piece here was fine, but the short piece on the upper manual was in pretty bad shape actually. So it doesn't come anywhere near the resistance wires, thankfully, but it seems like because that's exposed more to the air, it seems as though it's possibly the air quality that's something to do with the degradation of this foam as much as anything. Obviously age in itself. My dad said a lot of TVs and what have you back then had the same kind of stuff in. Yeah, so the long strip of foam actually is quite closed off to the elements, because you've got this short piece which actually sits in front, and that seems to have taken all the punishment really. I haven't got the short piece unfortunately. I just wanted to get rid of it because it was like the proverbial cow shit on a barn door, so I got shot as quickly as possible. So I've got that to clean up. You can see some of the foam which is still sticking to that, but yeah. What I will say is when you get to removing the cover on the upper manual, I took the harness that runs to the generator and just cable tied that off to the bar there which holds the keyboard wires down, and they run down to the next keyboard. That taps off actually onto the generator. But like I say, once again, there's no deposit or anything on these. They're clean as a whistle. So I'm extremely pleased. It is a bit awkward with the upper one. Like I say, you've got quite a few things to remove compared to the lower manual. It looks a lot worse than what it is actually. It looks horrendously complicated when you first look at these things, but all these wires are just the presets. If you did away with the preset panel altogether, because obviously a lot of players just use the drawbar, the B flat and B, it wouldn't look half as horrendous inside as what it does with all that wiring there. But like I say, you've just got two separate harnesses there. That's all your preset wires, and that's your drawbar, your B flat and B presets, which run to the drawbars. Well, what I did notice as well was that actually some of the screws were loose. In fact, I'm actually missing a screw. One of them actually, two of them's actually missing. On that crimps the plastic cable guide for the preset. There's actually another one of these behind the plastic, and it just crimps it and it keeps the cables from moving around. There's two screws missing on the lower one, and it's difficult to see, but you can, well, I have took the screws off to be fair, but and also a couple of the screws on the covers themselves were loose. But I guess after 50 years, and like I say, I did dig with it for a couple of years, I guess just over time some of them can work loose. So it's, even if you're not doing this, whatever screws you can see in the back of the organ, it's worth taking a screwdriver to it really, and just making sure everything's tight that you can visibly get to. So my next job is, like I said, to put the cover back on once I've cleaned all this up. That there is the ground cable, and that just screws onto the cover of the upper manual as there. So my next job after I've done the manuals is to actually turn it back up on its front, and I thought the organs that have been so spoiled. I bought up stop and down stop valves for both manuals. That was good in terms of the only bit of clackiness from the one felt is kind of the base section on the lower manual. It hasn't been gigged, and I certainly don't play in the style of a lot of players who really just go to town with the manuals and sliding and glistening, and I tend to play bass with my left hand if I haven't got the pedals plugged in anyway, which are currently residing over there. But it's just nice to be able to finally get around to future-proofing it. Hopefully I can get another 40 years out of it. Well, I'd like to get another 40 years out of myself as well, but if I can do this now, it'll certainly last another 40 years, I would think. So once again, if you've got any questions about this job, this is the first one I've done. I'm not especially knowledgeable about anything like this. I like to get stuck in, and I will read manuals and learn and learn and learn. It also helps that my dad's a retired audio electrical engineer who has been into these before, because he actually repaired some of the resistance wires on my A100 that I used to own. He actually managed to solder 5 or 6 back onto the contacts. But yeah, any questions, please give me a heads up, and I'll try and answer it best as I can whilst I've got everything out.